Sometimes in life you just gotta get back to the classics. Some of the best of the best. Let's go back to the house. Let's see some blood. What's going on? I am Rob. Welcome back to the channel, and we're doing 1985's House. This was directed by Steve Miner. Steve Miner did Warlock. He did Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3, and Halloween H2O. The Sean Cunningham production as well, so you know it's going to be a fucking good one. William Catt plays Roger Cobb in this movie, and we've also got Norm from Cheers. He plays the nosy neighbor Harold, which is fucking awesome. We're going back to a classic here. This was one of my favorites when I was a kid. I thought, let's buy the Blu-ray box set of all four and give them all a crack, because I've never seen the fourth one, so I will eventually. I really wanted to rewatch this again, and fuck yeah, I'm glad I did. Basic storyline is Roger Cobb. He moves into his auntie's house, which is haunted, and he's a troubled writer, so he needs to write his scripts and books and all that. He's writing a Vietnam fucking book at the point of time of the movie, and all things start going bad in this house. So as soon as you get into this, just the creepy music at the start is perfection, and that's how you want a horror movie to start. And there's no time wasting in this movie. They get straight into it. You see freaking the auntie, she necks herself straight away, and it sets the story straight up and tells the story of this is going to get given to her nephew who's going to move in, Roger. Good Easter egg I noticed when I was watching it again then as well. The Easter egg on the wall there, probably never noticed it when I was younger, of that swordfish that's behind her when she's hanging herself, which comes into play in the movie later on. And then a lot of the fucking pictures on the wall in this movie have a lot to do that the auntie has painted of ghost things that have come alive. So all these little things, pay attention to, because it's fucking really good. First part of the movie is fantastic, and it's character development for Roger, his backstory, his history with the house, and his son that went missing in that house as well. And so the story is set from the beginning, which is great. After he moves in, he's going to live there and he's going to write his book, his Vietnam experience book. We have fantastic characters in this movie. Freaking Norm from Cheers, he is the neighbor, and he is a good laugh, and he's just a good character in this movie. He fits perfectly in this, and he played it so good. Now, when you watch it again, the scare factors in this movie now are probably like a fucking 3 out of 10. But in the 80s, this would have scared you a lot. And it scared me as a kid when I watched it. But it still doesn't take away anything, because they really are trying to get the scare factor into you. Unless you're just like me, and I just don't get really scared from anything unless it's a shark movie. But I don't get scared, really. The monsters and creatures do look a little lame now, especially when you watch it on Blu-ray now. They do look a little lame. They kind of look a little bit like the two fucking twin monster things that steal the kid up the fucking chimney. They look like Jim Henson Muppets, but apart from that, I think they look pretty sick. Especially the monster in the closet. That is fucking awesome. And the pink lady, or the purple lady, the big fucking monster lady, she is fucking cool as well. Yes, they do look lame when you watch it again if you've never seen it before, but take it for 80s movie. It's got a storyline behind this, remember, it's good. There is a fair bit of cheesy comedy puns in this, but that's okay. But now watching this again 20 years later, I understand that it actually is, I think, meant to be a comedy horror comedy, I guess. I thought it was always just plain out horror, but I'm gathering it's comedy horror. I'm still leaning more towards horror, and we're just finding it a little bit more comical now because it is older and 80s. Like I said, the score is actually fantastic at the start, and the score is fantastic for the whole movie. Really good elements of horror, sound and all that. And even the soundtrack is pretty cool, because they play some cool old songs in this as well, which just fit perfectly. So soundtrack and score in this movie, I think, is fantastic. It all just fits. And like I said at the start, I love that all the paintings are clues. It's just fantastic as you keep watching and you keep recognizing all these different paintings have something to do with the story. It's all story development. It's really good. Pay attention. Don't sit on your fucking phone, man. There was no phones back then. People paid attention when they watched movies. I can see some Evil Dead inspirations in this, and a lot of Evil Dead elements in this. Let's be honest. They used a lot of that, and which is great. Now, Big Ben is my fucking favorite. He looks absolutely awesome. Sucker! Looks great. They told a good backstory with him in the war, and he just looks like a fucking cool army zombie. He is cool as shit. You will fucking love Big Ben.
Ran out of ammunition.
And once you watch this movie and you finish it, you realize this movie isn't really about the house. This is about Roger. This movie is about Roger. It's Roger's past haunting him until he can face it all. Him trying to find his kid, his wife leaving him, all the creepy things that happen in there. It's just all about Roger, and I don't have a problem with that. It's some deep shit, man, when you think about it, really. Watch it again and tell me I'm wrong, but it's not about the house, it's about Roger. The ending is a bit blah. I forgot that the ending was a bit blah, but a bit lame, but overall it was just good fun the whole way through. Good horror elements, good fucking scare factors that tried to scare us. Little bit of comedy puns. I think all the Muppet-looking fucking monsters looked cool. The characters were great. I think the characters were great, and every actor played their character perfection, and I reckon added better elements to it. I do hate how, and I never really thought about this until I've watched it again, but I hate how the house being haunted and have all these things going on in it is not explained. The cursed house is not explained. It's not explained why all these things come alive and why all this happens. So I'm guessing part 2, and I have seen part 2 back on VHS days, but I haven't seen it for 20 years. So I'm looking forward to watching part 2. I'm glad I brought the box set of all 4 of them on Blu-ray. So we'll do part 2 down the line, later on down the track. But I actually brought the box set just to watch number 1 again and watch it on Blu-ray. But I'm definitely going to do all 4 because I've never seen the 4th one. Don't remember the 3rd one. Don't remember the 2nd one, so I'm looking forward to it. My verdict on this one, regardless of the lameness, it's a fucking fantastic story, and I still love it. It's an all-time classic. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10 blood popcorns. I would never go lower than that. I didn't think it would be this high still in my books after watching it after so many years, but it still holds up. It really is a good film. So I really recommend you get yourself a copy of it, or you find it to download and have a fucking watch of it, because this is one of my fucking favourite horrors of all time. Just wish there was a few more kills in it, that's all. A few more kills, but I understand that it must be a horror comedy, so now, as I'm older, I understand that. And I do remember that part 2, I think, was a comedy. I guess part 2 is going to explain all why the house is haunted or whatever, because I remember Gramps is in it. That's all I remember. So, like, subscribe, do us a favor please, and subscribe and give a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. We're trying to do some good stuff on this channel, giving some good reviews, and I'll be back with whatever the fuck I do next. Until then, I'll see you.